June, what are better condiments than mayonnaise?
What are better condiments than
Yeah,
mayo?
How does mayo rank in your condiment?
There are no better condiments than mayo.
There are no better condiments than mayo. What's your favorite use of mayo?
Spoonful.
Here you go.
No thanks.
Put your money where your mouth is. Or put your mouth where your words are, rather.
I don't want to eat that whole thing now. I gotta be in the mood for
Okay,
it.
alright. Looks like June is a filthy liar.
I like mayo and potato salad, and tuna salad, and chicken salad. I like mayo on my fried rice. But it's not like you watch any of my videos anyway, so.
I live them.
That's what you say.
That's what I do. Unlike you, June, what I say and what I do are the same thing.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Saturday. There's my mop, and there's Fred, and I was just having
What about Aaron?
There's Aaron, and I was just having a very good lie on the floor, and I'm pretty sure Fred thought I was dead, and I got a glimpse of what would happen if I were to actually die. I think he would actually eat me, because he spent like a good 15 minutes just walking around me, slowly stalking, sniffing every single inch of his air. And my eyes were open, and I looked at him, and I'm like, dude, I'm still breathing, but now I know.
1 serving is 2 slices. Do you think that's right?
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like it should be 3 minimum. Where do they come up with serving sizes? Just out of their ass?
Whatever looks good on the calorie count, because it's like the serving size on some cereal is half a cup, and I'm like, dude, I eat 3 cups of it when I eat cereal.
Half a
So
cup of cereal.
the same thing with granola too. Granola is always like half a cup, and I'm like, who eats half a cup of granola? I eat the whole bag when I eat granola. Today is my friend Charlie's birthday. She is having a gathering in her apartment,
right.
And I was thinking of baking her brownies to bring to share with everyone, but it is currently 90 degrees in New York, so we are going to try to attempt to make a no-bake brownie today. I have some date paste in my fridge that I bought quite a while ago, I think probably before Mom passed away. So it's been here for probably a year.
What is 90 in Celsius for the benefit of our international viewers?
Ooh, I don't know. Probably like 36, 37. So here's the date paste that I bought. It's called Baking Dates. It expires in September 2022, so we're still good. And I'm just basically going to be mashing this up with some cocoa powder and almond flour, which I do want to toast a little bit on the stovetop. And we'll probably, you can use some arugula, and we'll probably pour in a little bit of extra sweetener depending on how sweet these dates are. I'm going to flavor it with a little bit of almond extract, maybe a little bit of Bailey's, and then we'll try to make an icing for the top because it's always better with icing. And that's it. Fred, you having a good day, buddy? I'm so sorry you didn't get to eat me today.
Soon.
Soon, yes, soon. I will die soon enough. So that's that. I bought some cheese and sausage, which I was going to share with Aaron, but now that he's being mean to me, I'm just going to eat it all by myself. It's okay, though. He has his own sausage.
I'm making a sandwich.
Yeah, he's making a great sandwich. Freddie, are you melting your fur? Are you melting your fur? I didn't warm up his food today because it's so hot. I just gave it to him cold from the fridge with a little bit of water. Like a little gazpacho, but no tomato because it will kill him. But that's it. How are you guys doing? It's been another week. Welcome back to the weekend. We survived barely.
How come your background's all vaporwave colors?
My background on my computer?
Yeah, it's vaporwave.
My background on my computer is a screenshot, which you can't see because my desktop is amazingly crowded, but it's a do's and don'ts of TikTok filming, which it doesn't matter how much I study the do's and don'ts. My TikToks just don't perform because I'm too fucking old. And that's what Aaron was asking about.
Macs are the computers for people with zero organizational skills.
Yes,
That's
correct.
what old Mac desktops look like.
I mean, not always. I just took a lot of screenshots. This week was very dramatic at work for me, not for anyone else.
June, tell people how many icons I have on my desktop.
0, 3.
0.
So we got a hierarchy chart this week at work. That photo is obviously pre-pandemic and I look so much happier in it, so let's just not comment on that. But anyway, these are apparently my job responsibilities. And in one of the meetings that I had, which was a surprise meeting because of something I said on Slack, I was like, it does not say in my job responsibilities that I have to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm gonna ask to not have to do X, Y, and Z. And that's when my editor-in-chief, Slack, called me, and it was a very intense conversation, y'all.
June got in trouble on Slack for doing anti-Italian discrimination. She called somebody a goomba.
I didn't get in trouble, but I did get into a very serious conversation because I called out the ways in which our job descriptions do not match our jobs, that we are asked with so many more things than we are paid to do, that we keep having this cycle of saying yes to things just because they're small asks and they pile up and we burn out.
Can you take a look at this sandwich and tell me what to put on the other side of the bread?
Why not
Which of
both?
these two? Why? ¿Por qué no los dos?
Yes.
They use a very shitty opening.
So I am just trying to put a stop, if for no one else, then for myself. This culture of let's just not talk about how everyone's miserable at work. And let's just keep piling shit on top, even though we know it's too much work.
I think we have 2 pieces of sun-dried tomato left. Can I finish them?
Yes, you can. Morgan, really? I would love to see that article. I don't really put out TikToks on my personal TikTok. They're all shit. I am required to do some TikToks for work though, and that's at Delish.
Required.
Delish is just Delish on all the platforms. Yes,
How
this
did
is
they
a new
get that?
tattoo. We showed it on the last live. It is a tattoo of Fred. But I don't know if any of my coworkers watch my lives, but if they do, I'm just going to say right now that until we all start speaking up about things that we take on that make us increasingly uncomfortable and tired and burnt out, nothing's really going to change.
Why
And
don't you tell them that directly instead of hoping they watch
I
it live?
do.
Okay, good.
I say it to them in all of our team-specific union meetings. I just can't repeat it, and I can't. A lot of our people are new hires, so they will be afraid to speak out, and they don't really know what's expected of them yet. So it's gonna take them a while to calibrate and figure that out for themselves. And not everyone is the same. Some people are workaholics, or some people just prefer achieving at a certain level. But ever since my mom died, I had to recalibrate for myself what it means to be pouring my all into a company that is shitastic, truly shitastic. And I said that in my meeting with my editor-in-chief. I said point blank to her face, it feels like shit to work for this company.
Did you tell them about the stupid about the stupid remote policy?
No, the company just sent out a company-wide email saying we have 1 month of flex work policy, which means we have to log every time we're not in our state of residence.
It's the least generous, most annoying
4 weeks.
remote work policy I've ever heard.
You get 4 weeks of remote. But I don't know.
Excluding a lot of random states. And all other countries.
Can we get a close-up on the tap real quick?
You guys can go to my Insta for that.
Okay, go to his Insta.
Or watch previous live streams. I've showed it off enough.
We can't satisfy your every whims.
Real gym heads would have seen it already.
Yeah. Everyone stay hydrated. You gotta, today, like, if you're in this part or in a very similar climated part, I mean, this is very abnormal, I would say. I know it's New York. I know we have nasty summers, but this is May 21st. I don't remember when the last time we had 90 degrees on May 21st. So it's kind of scaring me, but do drink up.
Also, people, drink up no matter what the weather is. Make sure you stay hydrated at all times of year.
Can you afford to work for your YouTube? Delish sends you places. What do you mean, Melissa? I can't make a full-time living off of my personal channel here. I would say I average about like $400 to $500 now a month, so that will pay for my groceries and Fred's groceries after taxes. But if I leave Delish, I don't think I want to work for corporate media again. I also took a week off last week, and I think having some time to myself has made me realize how mentally challenging and unhealthy it can be for me to work in food media all the time.
You're mentally challenged?
I'm mentally challenged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't realize it because you're just like swimming in the shit. And you get used to swimming in the shit because when you swim in shit, you like drink some of that shit up and it just becomes a part of you.
That sounds like a bad time.
But
I don't recommend
when
any of that.
you are swimming in shit for so long and you drink so much of the shit in, like you become shit. And then you don't realize, wow, I'm still swimming in shit. You just realize, I'm still swimming. But when you take a break and you get yourself out of that shit pool, you're like, this feels different. Okay.
June, can I show the people my sandwich?
Yes, show the people your sandwich.
It's a sandwich. This is Lebanon bologna, which
Come closer.
Which, from what I understand, has nothing to do with Lebanon, the country. It's made in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. It's made by the Amish, I guess, in Pennsylvania. It's Amish bologna. And then Swiss cheese, arugula, Macedonian, yes, very good, Macedonian pickled red peppers, and sambal, and mayo, and mustard. You want a real bite instead of a weird bird bite?
No. Is Lebanon still going through the ringer? Of course it is.
Oh, no, there's nothing to do with Lebanon.
Everywhere.
Verdict?
It's delicious.
Have a real bite.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Alright guys, welcome to the bullshit. Actually, before I get started making the brownie, I'm gonna start a dough of mantou dough for Laolao. I've been trying to make her dumplings, but I think it's been a tough time. It's been a tough time with Grandma.
Freddy. Freddy, come here.
You don't have to make him come here.
He'll hang out with you.
He doesn't have to hang out if he doesn't want to. Do you want to? He don't want to. Run away. Okay. So the mantou recipe that I'm going to use is just my steamed bun recipe. I used it last time. Unfortunately, I put in some leeks and Lala didn't like that, so we're just going to leave it plain this time. Let me find the recipe and then I can link it to you. I basically just make this bread and I don't do anything to it. Everything will work out. It'll be fine. Work is not being especially horrible right now. I think it's been 2 years since we unionized and this company is not getting any better. It is probably just getting worse. It is mostly getting worse because I see everything that's wrong with it and I see all the ways in which it does not want to change itself and I am getting hopeless. More of my coworkers are leaving, and the old team that I'm used to working with is not going to be there anymore. And not to say I don't like the new people coming in, they're great people, but you know, every time somebody leaves, it's different. So for this recipe, I do like a sort of cornstarch tangzhong, which is to say I just make a roux with cornstarch and water, and then I fold that into the dough later. Bargaining in good faith, but unfortunately it's not illegal for them to be bargaining at this snail pace. But we've been bargaining for 16 months now. 16 months of our lives. And I don't think our bosses understand, even if they're not anti-union, I don't think they understand how much it is to unionize and to be in a bargaining committee and to be part of a union and to actively fight against your anti-union company. It's a second job. It's a very intense position to be in. It sucks a lot out of you. And all the while, you're realizing that you don't have to be working this hard to unionize and make the workplace better for your colleagues. It's just your company sucks dicks. And it's making your life harder. The same company that you're working for day in and day out to produce labor for. And that's just very demoralizing. There's just no other way to say it other than this sucks. How do you maintain your morale when you know that your company is doing this to you? Even the lawyer for the company is like, wow, this is a very difficult company to work for. So, you know, that's that. Yeah, your boss needs to leave your store, period. Everyone who's against unions, as I said, not all unions are good. But anyone who's against the idea of unions, which is just a way of saying workers get collective bargaining power, they should just leave because they're not a good human being. Police unions are notorious for bad stuff. There are other unions who do bad stuff. I'm not saying all unions are good, but I'm saying unionization in general is going to help fight against the extremely humiliating, degrading, and damaging progress of our capitalistic society. So I'm just stirring this cornstarch and water mixture over low heat until it starts to gel. She doesn't grasp the good that a union is for. She said that she worked with one in Chicago. Okay, well, some people are just anti-union, you know? I have someone on my team who is anti-union, and I just don't bother her about it anymore. I remember when we first unionized, we had anti-union meetings from the company, and the company was like, this will tear the company apart. And I was like, actually, unionizing with my coworkers have given me a greater sense of community than I've ever experienced at this company. So I don't know what you're talking about. Such drama queens, you know?
Dude,
Yes, Aaron.
it was a good sandwich.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yes. Let me know if you ever want me to make you a sando without spicy, of course.
Okay.
Is that a tom tom?
Yeah, it's a cornstarch. Cornstarch larb.
Cornstarch.
Cornstarch larb.
I've never seen a tom tom just pure like that. Looks sumptuous, the texture.
Well, the cornstarch is what makes it
Is it
sumptuous.
beautiful?
Yes, I mean, you can taste a little bit. It's cooked.
Mmm. That's the gooeyest thing I've ever tasted. Well, second gooeyest.
Ew. Why did you say it like that?
I don't know.
I don't know what you mean by that.
I have mental
I
problems.
don't want to know what you mean by that.
It's my mental problems.
You can't blame everything on your mental problems.
Can't I literally blame it? Yeah, isn't that like... Can't I?
I forbid it.
Okay. What else would I blame things on other than my own mental state?
I don't know.
Fred?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna finish the milk for grandma, okay?
Yes. Maybe we go this weekend looking for more A2 with our coupons.
Yeah, I thought you said you could find it at Wegmans.
It is at Wegmans, I've just been forgetting. Cake time.
Cake time?
Cake time. This is the whipped cream, right?
Yes, sir. Eat it up. You want to show the people the cake?
June made almond cake.
This is a cake recipe that exists on Delish. It is not my recipe. It is made by one of our freelancers. It is a very good almond cake recipe.
It is very good, confirmed. June also made castella that was awesome, that I might have even liked even more than this.
Also by a freelancer. Both are available on
Delicious.com.
Yes. Although you might get paywalled.
If you do, just DM June, she'll give you a secret password for it.
I don't have a secret password, but I can give you a screenshot.
Apparently, professors will send you their paywall articles if you email them directly.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah, because the money for like scientific articles and academic articles goes to like the publication, not the professor. So they don't care.
They don't care.
Send you, they'll just send you a PDF of their
Ooh,
work.
I love it when people don't care.
For all the academic article heads out there.
The almond cake is gluten-free. Yes, it is almond flour.
This is pure almond flour? I didn't know that. It's such a great texture.
Yeah, almond flour is great.
Yum.
Three and a third cup of all-purpose flour. I wonder how much that is. 3 cups would be $3.90, and a third would be $4.30. Have a recommended shopping list on Amazon that I profit from because I don't want you to use Amazon if you can avoid it. I also really don't want people to buy shit they don't need. it in the freezer because especially when it's summer, it can go rancid. Left at room temperature, bugs can also get into it. So I always put my flour in the freezer. It keeps for way longer there. It won't go rancid. And, you know, multiple different purposes for keeping it in there. What's the parade in Manhattan? There's a parade in Manhattan? I don't even know. First of all, I hate parades because I hate people. I hate crowds and I hate loud stuff. I hate noises and I hate loud music. I don't go to nightclubs for that reason. Even if they have the greatest music, it's just way too loud. I don't go to concerts because it's way too loud. I don't go to concerts because there's too many people. So, not a parade person, unfortunately. I also can't dance, period. Whoops. What foods am I vibing with lately? Sunflower seed butter. It might be my new peanut butter. I went through 2 jars of it this week. It's kind of scary. Might have to stop buying it so I don't have to like feel so bad about finishing a whole jar in 2 days. I have no self-control. But yes, I love sunflower seed butter now. So it's not gonna look smooth, but it looks well moistened. And we're just going to let it sit. And the way I make most doughs now is I don't break out the stand mixer. I don't knead at it for 20 minutes until my arms fall off. I just let it do its thing. I come back in about half an hour and I do that kind of sourdough fold where I lift up the edges and I give it some structure, but no need to like really go too heavy with the kneading right now because the gluten will kind of sort itself out. And this is why I love reading the comments on all of the videos that I make for Delish, because this was actually a comment that was left on my brioche bread recipe page, and one viewer was like, if your machine burns out and your gluten hasn't developed that window pane stage yet, you can just leave it and come back to it and the gluten will kind of help itself along, and it's true. So that's how sourdough bread is usually made, and it'll save you a lot of work if you have the time for it. Go ahead and eat some grape tomatoes. Sorry to hear you're in the hospital again. That sucks. Okay, no big brownies. I've never made this before, but I imagine it's just mixing a whole lot of shit together and hoping that it stays in kind of like a fudgy texture. I have this almond flour. I think I'm gonna toast it on the stovetop so we get more of a nuttiness going. Yeah, if you're asking about live stream schedules, I don't schedule them because scheduling live streams make me feel obligated to put on a live stream. And in thinking about it that way and building it into my life structure like that, it feels more like work, which I feel like would not be a fun thing for me to do anymore. So I just put one on whenever I feel like I'm gonna be in the kitchen. I'll put on my cell phone. Welcome, Jessica. I actually don't know how much almond flour I need to toast. Probably should have looked up a recipe. Have a good time doing dishes. Yes, these tomatoes are amazing. They are the best grape tomatoes ever. Or cherry tomatoes? What would you call these? Are these grape or cherry tomatoes? peanut butter icing, maybe, with my remaining peanut butter. Hi, Nako. That sounds rough.
Yesterday I asked if June would lick my butt for $1 million. And you know what she said? Tell him, June.
I don't feel like repeating such.
She said, no, I would not lick your butt.
Oh my God, Eric,
for
go
$1 million.
away.
And I was like, you have a lot of dignity. I respect that.
I would say 350 to 325 for tortilla chips.
Would you lick Fred's butt for $1 million?
Listen, I don't want to be licking anyone's butt for $1 million because I don't even want $1 million to start with, so
But then
I'm not going to be making myself do stupid shit to get money that I don't need.
You could afford like 100 Freds if you had $1 million. Don't you want 100 Freds
I
in
don't.
your apartment?
No. Hope you're doing well too, Lisa. Thanks for your well wishes. If I had $1 million, it would not make a difference in the world. Would it? I think a lot of people think that their lives will change. But I think unless you're like in the dumps, completely homeless, I don't think more money will change your life. I think it'll just feed into your already existing neuroses. I could rescue a ton of cats, you're not wrong, but the world still would not change. I might make out with a stranger in Times Square for $1 million.
What if he had bad breath?
I mean, if he had bad breath, fine. Not if he had like some sort of transmittable saliva disease. Maybe not. That would be literally the third person I would have ever kissed in my life. We should just keep asking each other what we would do for $1 million.
Yes, hi. Yes, that sounds good.
I don't want to invest in anything.
Invest in yourself.
I don't want to invest in myself. Would you push a senior citizen off their walker for $1 million? Wow.
A lady just did that. Did you tell them about that article with the crazy lady who pushed the old lady?
Oh yeah,
That was
there was
crazy.
this freak accident death.
Not an accident. It was intentional.
Correct, a freak death. This lady was sitting with her fiance in a park in Chelsea, Manhattan, and they were eating dinner, and it was time for the park to close, so a police officer came up to her and was like, y'all need to leave, we're closing the park. And she got so pissed off for some reason, she ended up apparently throwing her sandwich in her fiance's face and getting really fired up about it. And so her fiance was just like, I'm gonna go home. This lady is still fuming, apparently. And she goes out of the park. She sees this, like, voice coach who's apparently really famous among Broadway stars. Voice coach is in her 80s, like late 80s. She sees that voice coach crossing the street, and she, like, goes over and just, like, pushes her. Voice coach ends up hitting her head on the curb of the street or something and is, like, bleeding, but she doesn't realize how bad the injury is until she, like, called her friend over, and her friend was, like, getting her on an ambulance, and then she was pronounced dead at the hospital a few days later. Which made me think, like, if my mom had died by the hands of someone else, I can't imagine how much more twisted grief can be. Do you know what ended up happening to her?
She's been arrested. She's being tried for manslaughter. Like, could be 15 years.
I mean, something wrong has to be, like, there must be something wrong with that woman, right?
Yeah, she apparently has had major anger issues. And, like, has made fun of people in the past, like disabled people and stuff. I don't know if it's all related, but just an entitled rich lady.
Is she rich?
Yeah, she comes from rich. That's how her family is affording, like, really famous lawyers for her.
Of course.
Is that all almond powder?
It is.
Nice. It smells amazing.
Has anyone ever made no-bake brownies before? Would you like to give me any advice whatsoever? This reminds me of that chickpea episode I did in like June of 2020, where I made all sorts of weird shit with chickpeas. I don't know if anyone here saw that, but that was a thing. Okay, about 390 grams of date paste. I'm gonna write this down. That was a lot of date paste. Okay, let's go in with our cocoa. Let's see, we have this Hershey Special Dark. How do you cope when you're having an imposter syndrome episode on your new job? That depends. Because I feel like sometimes you truly don't have the skills yet. But you have to think about the fact that you were hired. And that somebody who does work at the company chose to hire you. So they must have seen something in you to choose you. If you're just being hard on yourself, that's a whole other matter. I feel like I'm gonna wash my hands, and I'm just gonna have to like, maybe I can be not quite so disgusting yet. I was just gonna go in with my hands because the date paste is so insanely thick, but. Okay, I'm gonna add some honey. No, I'm gonna add some maple. Let's go some. Okay, 30 grams of maple. This is going very poorly. I definitely should have looked up a recipe instead of just being stubborn, but it's too late. I'm gonna go in with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Wait, why are we talking about showing alien stuff? Are they coming? Should I prepare for my grand exit away from this planet? Gonna go in with a little bit of vanilla. I really feel like I should be kneading this. Let me just taste a little bit of this. Okay. Your water, sir. What is the sweetest dessert you've ever eaten?
Gulab Jamun or something similar?
Do you like how sweet it is?
I do. I'm okay with stuff that's sweet that's soaked in syrup for some reason, even though, like, the sweetness of, say, buttercream frosting I hate and immediately gives me a headache. But I can't really eat tons of Gulab Jamun or, like, the Middle Eastern stuff that's similar. I love it, but I eat, like, 1 or 2 pieces, I'm like, I'm good.
I'm definitely not making dumplings today. I made some steamed bun dough for Laolao. But I'm just gonna steam them plain because she doesn't like stuff in them. This, right now, we're making no-bake brownies. I feel like I should have used, like, a stand mixer or something. We'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get there. Okay, about a half a cup of almond flour. I do have this tahini. Maybe, do you think tahini no-bake brownies would work? That could be really good, actually. I might try some of that. Mm-hmm. I do want to get my hands in there. You're not wrong. I just feel weird putting my hands into something that's not going to get cooked, you know? But it would come together a lot faster. Let me see if this is sweet enough. Could be sweeter. But then if I have my icing, that might be too sweet. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a spoon. I'm going to scrape some of this date paste off of the packaging. I'm going to add a little bit of this tahini to it. And I'm gonna taste to see, I think this is gonna taste good, but I just wanna see. That's pretty good. Definitely won't be like a brownie flavor anymore, but okay, 2 tablespoons of tahini. What did I put in there? I put in like a 1/4 teaspoon salt too. Okay. Water break. Did you guys take your vitamins yet? Jess, your job sounds like a human rights violation. No joke. Is that job in the States? Because I see. Ay, ay, ay. There's a lot of tahini in this jar, and if I scraped it all out, this would no longer be a brownie. It would be tahini fudge. Okay. We're gonna use it because Mom gave it to me. Story time. March 2020. We have gone into lockdown. Mom shows up at the foot of my apartment building without telling me and brings me a suitcase filled with clothes, food items that I don't need, and masks and gloves. We're going to be using one of these gloves to knead by hand. Thanks, Mom. I yelled at her when she came.
Are there any of your stories with Sufan where you didn't yell at her?
No, I yelled at my mom a lot because she always did things that I did not want her to do, and I felt like she just could not trust me to handle my own shit. Obviously, I regret all of it, but what's done is done. That was just how our relationship was, and I just have to start remembering them as just that. It was just what our relationship was, and I dreamed of Mom again. I think maybe 3 days ago, perhaps? a very strange dream because we actually acknowledged that she had, like, died, or I thought she had died. Thanks, Jill. That does bring me some comfort, for sure. In the dream we hugged, and we exchanged a few words. It was actually a really coherent dialogue when it happened, but unfortunately I can no longer recall the dialogue anymore, as dreams go when you wake up. But there was at one point that I can recall that she started asking me about, like, whether or not I had been praying to God. It seemed like she was really concerned about my faith. Which I thought was kind of strange because I thought we were under the same impression that, like, I'm not really practicing any religions anymore. And I asked her where she was living, where she had been living all this time, if she didn't actually die. And she said she's still in the old house. And I said, that's weird. Are you, like, paying rent to the new landlord? Are you renting it out? And she said something like, what was it? She said something like, oh, the new landlord has 100 meters that he's let completely fallow. Fallow in the sense, like, he's not doing anything with it. He's not developing anything on it. And I was just like, what does that even mean? Like, why are you so concerned that he's not doing stuff with his house? It was just very strange, y'all. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know where that conversation was going. But what's really fascinating is after I had that dream, I woke up that morning and I went to see my grandma. And usually when I see my grandma, you know, I check in with her and I say, how are you doing? Do you need anything? What food do you want? And usually I also ask her, did mom come to see you? Because grandma says that, like, sometimes at night she sees a shadow outside her window and she interprets that shadow to be mom checking in on her. I also added 1 tablespoon of honey. And when I went in that day and I asked her, did mom come to see you? She said no. So if we believe in the spiritual realm, in a potential afterlife of sorts, is it maybe possible that mom actually came to see me in my dream and didn't get to see grandma that night? You know, maybe we should just make truffle balls instead of brownies. I could just roll them in cocoa powder. In which case we need more vanilla. And also maybe a little more salt. Maybe I'll use mom's salt because it'll dissolve a little bit easier. Oh, that was a lot of vanilla. Oops. I also think I wanted to put in a little bit to Bailey's. So if we're gonna do truffles, I guess the Bailey's has to go in now. Everybody keeps thinking I say bay leaf when I say Bailey's. Is there a way for me to not make it so confusing for people? Am I saying it wrong? Yet again? That's pretty good, y'all. Okay. All right. Now the question remains, do I need more salt in here? I think we're good. I think we're good. When you make truffles, you gotta break out the good cocoa powder, you know what I mean? Because that's what's gonna be coating it. So you really don't wanna cheap out on the first blast of taste hitting people's mouths. So, guitar. I do work at home, but our company is slowly telling everyone that they can't work at home anymore. Bye, NDR. There are nuggets, and instead of sifting, I'm just pressing with my hand to work out the nuggets. Sifting causes a mess. I have one more thing to wash. Nobody needs that in their lives right now. Just keep it simple. I do have to think about what container to put this in now. The problem with working from home is like, you know, I could get special treatment because I have my videos to show for it. But other people who would equally benefit from not having to go into the office wouldn't have that privilege. So we need to push for across the board work from home flexibility for the entire company. It's just not smart. We have already lost people because of how not smart this company is being. And I guess at the end of the day, the company doesn't care that it loses people because they can always replace us with other people. So at a certain point, I recognize that. And I recognize that, you know, all we can do is make our own choices. And that's what I'm gonna do. We have leaders at the company who engaged us in company-wide anti-union meetings at the beginning of the pandemic, who have now turned around in meetings and say, I look forward to seeing what the union can do for this particular aspect of the company. And I'm just like, girlfriend, it's not what the union can do, because the union is literally composed of your workers. It's what the company allows us to do as a unionized workforce. It's not the fucking union's job to get shit done. It's the fucking company's job to stop stopping progress. The company is what's standing in the way of us making things better for workers. Can we all realize that? I am tired of people treating the union like it's a magical unicorn. Real people are working their ass off to try to push this contract through, and the company is doing its very best stopping us at every single point in the process. So at a certain point, I guess, you know, people just have to decide if they've swum long enough in enough shit to leave. Because from the way things are going, yeah, we will have a contract, but we will never be able to unsee the fact that this company is dickballs. Particularly infuriating is that Hearst likes to think that it's better than the rest of the industry, but it's absolutely not. It does the bare minimum to keep up with industry standards. And in an industry that has absolutely rock bottom standards, I don't know what to say to that. I would say my coworkers routinely work a 10-hour workday, even though we don't get paid for that amount of work. Is it our fault? Yeah, kinda. I guess we submit ourselves to it, but you know. Why is it happening on such a wide scale? I have thought about working by myself. I don't think I would be good in charge of a company. I don't want to be anyone's boss. That would, next to being a mother, being a boss is the last thing I want in life. I never want to be a mom, and I never want to be a boss. Because isn't being a mom being the ultimate boss? Yeah, being a mom is such a mind fuck. Because you are a boss, but you're also like completely out of control. Yes, I'm going to freeze these because it's 90 degrees outside and I'm a little worried that they're going to be really disgusting by the time I make it to the party. So I'm going to try to freeze them in an attempt to give them a little heat buffer. I'm also thinking that I might want to incorporate the almond flour into what remains in this batch just to see what the difference in texture would be. I'm pretty happy with the texture these currently are, so I'm going to be bringing these to the party and maybe I'll add in more almond flour and keep those for myself in case they go downhill. Thank you, Devil's Pig. You are doing an excellent job. Do I have enough to bring to the party? Thanks. I don't actually know how many people are showing up. you want to try a truffle ball?
Yes.
I'll make you a fresh one.
Thank you.
So these were going to be no-bake brownies, but I figured they're more pandemic safe if I just portion them into individuals.
Oh. We do be in the middle of a pandemic, aren't we?
Well, you certainly don't think so. There you go.
Thank you. So this is almond flour and what else?
Date paste?
Date paste and cocoa.
Yep.
Very good.
Thank you. Can you put this in the freezer for me? Thank you. Any feedback?
Could be sweeter.
Could be sweeter.
Yeah.
Whoops. I guess with the cocoa powder and lack of icing, which I was gonna do initially. And that makes sense. My grandma doesn't like sweets. This is not for grandma. This is not for grandma. This is for my friend Charlie's birthday party. And these are gonna be for me. Because I roasted the almond flour. I think I'm gonna put in a little more tahini. For my batch. But also grandma is a liar because she loves Ensure. She loves to tell me how the nurses tell her it's healthy for her. And Ensure is fucking sweet as hell. It's basically like a melted milkshake. So, yeah. I don't really trust grandma. Grandma had a, incident about 2 nights ago where she called me at 8:30 p.m. and she said they didn't give me dinner. And I was like, I'm not sure that's possible, but it is, I guess, possible. And I asked the nurses and they were like, everybody got their meal at the same time, like, I don't think she got skipped. And I was like, okay. So grandma was complaining that she didn't get dinner, and I asked what was for dinner, and the nurses told me macaroni and cheese, maybe it was too light for her, and I was like, well, that's probably the problem, because grandma always thinks macaroni and cheese is leftovers. So she just always dumps whatever she thinks is leftovers because she doesn't want it to like go back to them and they serve leftovers again. She's convinced that they serve her leftovers. She's also always convinced that they serve her last, but I'm like, grandma, that's because all the other patients go to the common dining room to get fed, and so if you stay in your room, you're gonna have to wait your turn because then they have to feed everyone in the dining room first and then go to room by room to serve them. And that night she was like, well, they didn't give me food, period. I was like, okay. I got really angry because I was really tired because it was 8:30 at night. I grabbed a box of food that I had prepped to bring her the day after, and I went to see her. And I said, here you are, and she was like, oh, you came. And I was like, yes, what did you think I was going to do if you called me saying they didn't feed you? Like, of course I came. Isn't that what you wanted? Didn't you want me to come with food because you were calling me to tell me they didn't feed you? Like, what do you want from me, Grandma? And she ate her strawberries, which I brought her, and I said, okay, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna go rest now. And she's like, okay. And I was like, see you tomorrow. Okay? I go the next morning with that morning's food, doing my routine visits, and I'm cleaning her containers to take them back and reuse them, and I see the cup of noodles that I brought the previous night, and I was like, Grandma, why didn't you eat the noodles? Do you not like them? If you don't like them, I can dump them. And she was like, no, don't dump them, I like them. And I was like, well, why didn't you eat them? You called me last night to tell me that they didn't feed you dinner, so I brought you dinner. And she was like, well, I can't eat it all. And I was like, you literally didn't eat any of the noodles. And she was like, I ate the 3 pieces of century egg that I put in there. And I was like, okay, that's literally a mouthful of food. Like, at this point I was screaming at her because I was just like, I'm so tired of your bullshit. You better tell me what you actually want. And when I get upset like this, she starts calling me by my mom's name. Because my mom obviously lived with her 24/7, and Grandma's behavior, to be around Grandma 24/7, honestly, I can't take it. I can't even take 3 hours of it. So, gives me insight into how Mom was feeling. I got pretty screamy at Grandma, and Grandma said, don't yell at me, don't get angry at me, I'm old, my brain's not here anymore. And I was like, okay. Clearly, Grandma is coherent enough to pull the I'm too old card. If her appetite is getting smaller, she was still hungry, she wanted attention, or she wanted food. Like, because if she just wants attention from me, or if she wants to act out in such a way that makes it seem obvious she certainly can't stay in this place any longer because they're so-called abusing her, then I'm just gonna have to, like, ignore it, right? I just have to ignore what Grandma does now. Because this kind of behavior drove my mom nuts and broke her, and I can't let it do that to me. Mom wouldn't want the same outcome for me. I'm pretty sure. So every day, just navigating. What can I do, you know? My uncle was like, you can't treat her like she's still a normal human being. Like, she's just not. And I was like, I understand, but, like, I'm trying to learn my boundaries, and I'm trying to learn what the best thing to do here is, because obviously, yes, Grandma is grieving. Yes, Grandma is feeling extremely helpless and hopeless, increasingly so, that she can't go back to China. And I get it. But, like, I too am still dealing with grief and the guilt that I have concerning, you know, how bad of a daughter I was to my mom, and how I will never, like, have a chance to take care of my mom. So obviously taking care of my grandmother is kind of the alternative I have, the proxy that I have to, like, make it up to my mom and to finish what my mom was doing, which is to take care of Grandma. But, like, taking care of Grandma is very fraught. And Grandma's just, Grandma's telling me, like, hey, you gotta get me out of here, like, they don't treat me right. And I'm like, Grandma, I don't know where you think you can go to get even better treatment because honest to God, this facility has such nice staff. I can't imagine there being a nicer spot. This place is best case scenario as far as I can see it. But unfortunately, even best case scenario is not enough for Grandma. I mean, when my mom was taking care of Grandma 24/7, that wasn't enough for Grandma. So nothing will ever be enough for Grandma. And I guess I'm saying it out loud, but a part of me hasn't really grasped it yet. That nothing will ever be enough for Grandma. That even if Grandma made it back to China and is closer to my uncle and the remaining relatives, even then she will have things to complain about. So I just have to keep telling myself that so that I don't drive myself crazy. Grandma says she doesn't need me to see her every day, but Grandma also raises hell. And I don't want the nurses to feel like she's the difficult patient that they want to avoid, because that's just going to make life harder for everyone. So I try to be there a little bit every day to like mediate. But yeah, a lot of the times it just feels like there's no winning, right? I just can't win. Thanks for listening. Thanks for letting me talk it out. And sometimes it's just a matter of talking it out so many times before you let yourself accept it. I do get messages. I don't know if you saw my Instagram story about this, but I do get messages from people, comments from people that are like, these are things that you don't say out loud. Like, these are things that you're supposed to keep to yourself. Like, true sadness shouldn't be public. And I'm just like, no. True sadness is whatever it is. When people tell me what true things are, it really gives me the vibe of like, marriage is between a man and a woman. I think we should try to move beyond dictating what other people's lives look like. If it's not hurting you, why are you upset about it? And if it is hurting you, why? Because I'm not punching you. I'm also not making you watch this or read any of this. So you chose to subject yourself to sadness. And you can choose to not subject yourself to sadness anytime. That's not something I can help you with. ruining your lives. Ruinous lives. Okay, brownie ball's done. I don't think I'm mentally prepared to take a week off from visiting Grandma, honestly. For those of you wondering, why is she washing that glove? I'm gonna use it for cleaning. Give it a second life before I throw it away in the landfill forever. The landfill of doom. Now we clean up. Let her rest again. I do have this strong desire to just combine these two nut butters, add a shit ton of honey to it, add the remaining cocoa powder to it, and just eat the whole thing. Which will make me very sick. I would make this again. That's the consensus. So Aaron actually used to come visit Grandma with me, but now they require rapid testing every time you go visit. And it's just a lot of commitment to have to go through that hoop, you know. I do it because I have to, but I don't expect anyone else to. Wait, but what can we make with this leftover cocoa powder that I definitely don't want to dump back in for fear of contaminating the whole batch? Let's see. shake with it? Yeah, that's not a lot of cocoa powder. Maybe I'll just make myself a little shake with it. Some goat yogurt that I got from my Mediterranean shop. We have some frozen blueberries. We have the cocoa powder. We have some nut butters. I also have some of my weird free protein powder. Hi, Fred. Hey. What you doing, bud? Excuse me, sir. It's gonna get really loud, Freddie. You came at a very strange time. I just wing it. I don't have an eating schedule, y'all. Who has an eating schedule? Ooh, very tart. I'm going to wash out our maple syrup container with a little bit of water. Because I don't really have milk anymore, I'm going to toss in a couple of like hydrated almonds. That way we can kind of make an almond milk of sorts. You sure, buddy? It's gonna get really noisy. I'm gonna add a tablespoon of honey, mainly because there's a lot of cocoa powder in there, and we don't really have anything with a lot of sugar in there, and I just feel like it's gonna taste disgusting without it. Really delicious honey. My colleague Philip, he lives in Akron, Ohio, and he recommended this local honey maker to me, and it's really good. So if you guys want to support a small scale bee farmer, I guess, go ahead and check out their honey. Really flavorful. They have different, I think I also bought, let me see. They have hot honey and they have like another flavored one, and then I bought this hibiscus one. It is very strong. It's almost molassesy. So. All right, Fred, you've been warned. It's gonna get noisy.
Why aren't you warning me?
You've been warned, Aaron.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know, Fred. I told you. Fred goes berserk when there's a vacuum on as well, but we don't vacuum often anymore. Mostly just broom people now. Do you want to sniff? There's a lot of poison in here for you, Fred. It's mostly like chocolate and coffee and everything that can kill you in an instant. Yeah, I figured. It's very acidic from the cocoa. Ooh, look, a bird. Hi, bird. What you doing, bird? A little bit fruity from the blueberries, too. already. Are you waiting for a treat?
Oh yeah, I did. I threw a couple in there to give them the kitchen earlier.
But you're waiting for Stella and Chewy's, aren't you?
Can you ask your friends what are good short friends?
Shorts? Are you gonna wash the comments? 'Cause I'm washing dishes right now. I'm not doing it for Aaron, but Aaron is asking if you guys have a favorite brand for shorts. Our gentleman is looking for summer shorts.
I'm looking at the comments on my phone.
Great. Yes, Aaron, the magic of the internet. I can't hear you. I'm washing dishes. Yes. That was a brand. I don't think you're quite looking for the Dickies.
So you don't want children to, but what if you could have grandchildren but not children?
Why would I want that?
Would you like it? Would you like having grandkids?
No. I'm good.
Another person says chubbies. Should I get chubbies or dickies?
I've never heard of Chubbies. What's their style?
Plain.
What do you want?
Probably not that.
I think you're just gonna have to go thrifting, Aaron.
Chubbies look like if dickies were shorter. Chubbies and dickies should merge and be called chubby dickies.
Oh, I don't think we're ever gonna go buy Old Navy stuff ever again in our lives. First of all, they probably just have horrific manufacturing processes. Fred is withholding his labor by protesting, not appearing on camera, but hiding behind the chair, so that he wants all of you to know just how mistreated he is. He says if any of you are organizing a cat union he would like to join, get at him, drop a DM.
Josh Allen's birthday!
Happy birthday, Josh Allen. Aaron, can you come over with the brushie, please?
You want me to bring you the brushie, please?
Oh, he's leaving though.
Only because you said please. Here it is.
Can you bring over some treats too? So you can give him...
the treats?
What?
I gave you the treats.
Oh, okay. Freddie, come here. Let me brush him first.
Are there lots of thrift stores in NYC?
Yes.
Yes, there are. There's lots of everything in NYC except lame people. There's no lame people in NYC. We're all cool. Yes, thriving.
We got Chewy's house brand of Greenies ripoffs. Ow. And Fred likes them a lot. You trying to open treats, Freddie? By all means, sir. Do. If you can open the treats, they are yours. I didn't lid it completely secure, so there is a chance that he could topple the whole thing over. Oh, you like that, Freddie? You like your little bib scratches, huh? Yeah. You want more? No. Freddie. You're a dingus. Are you looking at birdies outside? Do you see a bird? Are you fascinated by nature, Freddie? you? You're bleeding, Freddy. Oh no. Did I brush you too hard? Hey, what's up? Oh. Aaron, he's bleeding.
What?
He's bleeding.
Where?
Right on top of his left eye.
Why?
I don't, maybe I brushed him too hard, or maybe he had a scab there before?
How bad is it bleeding?
It's not like dripping, but I can see that there's a red spot. I think it might have been, do you remember once upon a time above his left eye, he had like a little pimple looking thing?
Yeah, true. It might have been a pimple. I guess the pimple popped.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Freddy.
I thought it was just a pimple.
No. Okay, no more brushies. I'll take a break. We went a little too hard. Do you clean your pet's cuts with anything in particular? I don't know what's safe. What's safe for them? Do they have eye nipples? Good night, Eileen. Okay, can we get your hindquarters? Can you come here? Come here. Ow, 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 ow. Jesus. We don't brush his teeth because he only has 3. And I truly don't think, based on how he hates the Flovent experience, that he's gonna let us anywhere near his teeth. Yes, I know. You want the greenies, right? Okay. No more for now, Freddy. He does still get Flovent, yes. All right, Freddy. Let me get some water on that. You look good with gelled hair, Fred. Giving some real middle school vibes in the 90s. All right, folks. Anything else we should be talking about? Otherwise, I will be signing off. I am thinking about watching Everything Everywhere All at Once. Is that what the movie's called? It's been a while since I've said that movie name. So, oh my gosh, it turned into a gel. Look at that. It's like a gel. That's crazy. Must be the pectin from the blueberries. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna use hydrogen peroxide. I just wet it down with a little bit of water, and I think I'll keep an eye on it. It looks pretty fresh though. Swanky Angelo. You are the first person I've heard say that that movie is not good. Everyone else I've talked to has said amazing things about it, so I'm very curious. Hey, babe. Can I just brush you a little bit? What if I give you a treat? Hey. Come here. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. This is what it feels like to have kids, isn't it? Just complete helplessness. All right, well, we tried. Anyway, have a great day. Thank you so much for joining this live. Stay hydrated. And when in doubt, douse yourself in water and look cool like you're still in middle school in the 90s. Am I right? Am I right? Say bye, Freddie.